Don't look now, but the Florida Gators have done it again. Solomon Thomas may be a Florida Gator. Tavaris Dice, you are a Florida Gator.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, another live episode of Locked On Gators. I am Brandon Olsen. This is what, episode 13 now this week? We're going nuts, and we got another one tonight after the game too. It's gonna be hectic. I am Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter, WNS_Brandon. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free, representing the podcast. I mentioned Solomon Thomas earlier because I already saw the chat start talking about it. First off, enjoy the commitment of Tavaris Dice. Secondly, I don't think that just because you got Tavaris Dice, that means that you're out on Solomon Thomas, okay? I want to make that one abundantly clear early on. I love you all in the chat. We got 75 people in here already. We're a minute and a half in. The Florida Gators have flipped Tavaris Dice from Auburn. And this is especially, I don't know, this one feels a little bit different just because it's been 8-9 months since Florida and Auburn, it feel like really tightened up as just this insanely heated back and forth between the both of them. Because don't forget, for so much of this 2025 cycle, it's been, is he going to go to Auburn? Is he going to go to Florida? And then he committed to Auburn, and it was like, well, he's still going on visits to Florida. And then he kept going on visits to Florida. And then it was Auburn felt like they were losing him, and Florida felt like they were losing, and everybody felt like they were losing him, and it was just chaos, right? But instead, now we're at the point where Florida has succeeded and committed and landed the commitment from Tavaris Dice and finished the flip. And this is something that I spoke about in, I think it was June, where I said, this feels like one of those times where he hasn't shut it down. And to me, when a guy doesn't shut it down and he continues going on visits as frequently as Tavaris Dice did, it feels like eventually the team that landed the initial commitment will lose that battle. We've seen it happen in Florida plenty of times. When a kid commits and then he starts going on a bunch of visits elsewhere, or he continues going on visits to the place that finished in second, a lot of times they end up flipping. Especially if you look at an Auburn team that has had some pretty big wins, right? I mean, the Texas A&M win, especially when you compare how they performed against Florida, the Texas A&M win looks that much more impressive. Florida has a lot of momentum right now, just on the trail in general and on the field, with the wins that they've picked up in recent weeks over ranked LSU, over top 10 ranked Ole Miss. Florida's been building progress and gaining momentum. Auburn needs to beat Alabama today in Tuscaloosa in order to be bowl eligible. This is not an awesome Auburn team. And Florida has been building momentum. And again, this is an important part too. This is the tale of two Billies, right? Because the past 2 years, Florida's been pretty bad in the last 5 games of the season. And their recruiting classes have kind of fallen apart a little bit there. Now we're seeing Florida finish the year strong, and the recruiting class is going up. Which you could argue, hey, rather that, right? But yeah, Florida landing Tavaris Dice is huge. He is a massive human being, by the way. He's listed as 6'4", 295, but he's just puffed up. His shoulders are wild. He's very broad-shouldered dude. I think he's a great athlete. I think he plays with pretty good pad level for a high school football player. He does need to clean up some things, specifically with his hand placement. I think needs improvement there. But a lot of these things that he doesn't do great right now are things that you don't want them to be great at in high school. You don't need them to be great at in high school, right? It's nice if they're great at that in high school, But that's stuff where you look at that and you go, well, we'll get you there in college. Tavaris Dice is a blue chip player, a 4-star player across the board. He is 242nd on 3, 23rd offensive tackle on 24/7. He's 159th player, 18th offensive tackle. ESPN 167th offensive player, 22nd offensive tackle, or 167th player, 22nd offensive tackle. Rivals, he's not ranked nationally, but he is the 27th offensive tackle here. And I want to reiterate this again now that we've doubled in size of the live stream since I said this last. I do not think that Tavaris Dice's presence has any impact or any negative impact on Solomon Thomas, okay? I do not think that this is, Florida felt like they weren't getting Solomon Thomas, so they went and got Tavaris Dice. Andre Patterson, welcome. I see you. Do you still want Billy to leave? I need Billy to beat Florida State. I need Billy to get an OC. I need Billy to have this class respectable and acceptable. Still need it. Sorry, winning those 2 games, not enough. Need you to go out and finish the job and do some great things. But I appreciate you being here. I like my friends, but I love my haters. And so Florida still has work to do. Offensive line recruiting. They've gotten better in general recruiting-wise, right? We'll look at their class ranking right now with 24/7 and on 3. We'll pull up both of those and we'll see where they're going there. On 24/7, with Tavaris Dice added, they are still 15th in the country. And on 3, they are still 15th in the country with Tavaris Dice added. Again, this is a thing where I think you saw the significant improvement from 51 to 15. But now the thing is, it's a lot tighter to gain space there, right? When you're 51st, you land 1 3-star and you jump a bunch of kids or a bunch of schools. Here, not the case. I see people talking about Rob Sale. I don't know. I will say, we'll see if who's listed as Tavaris Dice's primary, because if it's Jonathan DeCoster, I think it's Jonathan DeCoster. Jonathan DeCoster is again listed as the primary recruiter for Tavaris Dice, which I'm just saying, that's been something I've been talking about, where it's been Jonathan DeCoster listed as the primary and Rob Sale listed as the secondary. And so maybe that's indicative of what's going to happen with the offensive line staff. I see you popping off in the chat. I love all of you. We are going to get to you, and we'll get through the whole chat in a minute when we get back with Locked On Gators. I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks, right? It has to be easy, no hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, we called them on it. It turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. And the longest part of the process was the time you spend on hold waiting to break up with your old provider. Some breakups are good. Some relationships are toxic. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. It's mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. $45 upfront payment required, which is the equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And if you like making money, do that with FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And this is a great week, by the way, to go on FanDuel. You've got college basketballs all day. College football rivalry week is always insane. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free, revis in the podcast and on YouTube. And we're going to hit the chat here, which, oh my goodness, y'all are popping it off. Florida's cooking. Florida's cooking right now. Doesn't mean anything for Solomon Thomas. You are allowed to have multiple blue chip offensive line. I know that's the thing. I think that's where we got the disconnect here. I know that in recent years, Florida has proven incapable of bringing in multiple blue chip offensive linemen. And so Florida fans may think, oh, you're not allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. You are allowed to bring in multiple blue chip offensive linemen. They just haven't. So it doesn't matter. Like, getting Tavaris Dice doesn't mean that you're automatically out on Solomon Thomas. A lot of these kids are going to come down to these final 5 days. Okay? Today through December 4th. A lot of them, it's going to be, a little against the wire there. So just saying, it's going to happen. Zach Fink, Billy Cookin, first W of the day. Let's get another one tonight against FSU. Billy whipping it up in the kitchen with the secret sauce. What's up, Q? New picture too. I see out there, Q. Sunbelt Billy transforming into the Florida Billy. That's the thing that I was talking about with someone else the other day. A lot of what we've seen in this past month, 6 weeks, we'll say, is Florida and Billy specifically becoming a better coach in this past month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever you want to say. And I think that does, like, while he's working out, and it seems like if he's turned this corner and he's going to stay or continue improving, that's a lot better, right? That's always great. But I do think that it does give a little bit of confirmation to the people that when Billy was hired are like, oh, he's not ready for this. Because we've seen him take such significant strides this season that it's like, okay, so the first two and a quarter seasons, you really were not ready for this. You were out of your weight class. So I do think this might be the best of both worlds, where the people who doubted him at the beginning and the people who have doubted him throughout, and then now he's turning the corner, could be great. I do think it's the best of both worlds if he does continue this upward trajectory. Billy Cookin, love this guy. I've never wavered and always wanted Billy to stay 5 years at the University of Florida, no matter what. You got to give coach 5 years at least. I disagree with that vehemently. Especially in the semi-pro college league with the NIL and transfer portal. That's why Nick Saban retired. Nick Saban also retired because he's like 1,000. So that's definitely part of it. This season is such a freaking Tanner, I'm telling you, this season is just nuts. Still very much in play for Solomon. 6'5", 315-pound offensive tackle, always good to get. And we flipped his rum. I don't know what that part meant. Chomp Auburn, let's go. Maybach Billy can't be stopped. It's great to be a Florida Gator. We got you on live today. Let's ride Billy Napier. Let's go Gators. A comma would have done wonders in that one, Danny. Just going to say that one. Let Billy cook. We getting both. Brandon working OT these past 2. I'm telling you. I'm like that Popeyes lady right now where it's just like, oh my God. I'm hunched over on the bench afterward. It's been a lot. But I'll tell you, it's beautiful and I love it. And I would gladly do it if it meant that positive momentum kept rolling there. Impressive turnaround. Thanks for all the content. Yeah, of course. I love you too, Mudkip. But I do think that the turnaround is incredibly impressive. I think where we kind of lose the plot is that people keep going, oh, see, you never should have doubted. Look at this turnaround. The reason that you get to say it was a turnaround is the same reason you get to understand why people doubted or disliked or wanted Billy fired, right? You get to go, oh, look at this turnaround. You just needed to wait for it. The reason that you needed to turn around is the same reason people wanted him gone, because it was really bad for a long while here, right? Just want to get that one clear. Not saying that you're implying that at all, Mudkip. I'm just saying that's what it comes down to. Like, you can't say impressive turnaround if you don't have the crappy bit, which is why people wanted him fired. Is this the buyout money at work? These are guys I thought we were out on. I don't think Florida was ever out on Tavaris Dice. This is one where I think relationship plays a big part. I'm sure NIL does as well. But I do think relationship plays a big part because Florida's been pushing for Tavaris Dice for over a year at this point. By the way, this is another one where Florida's adding an offensive lineman that's a multi-sport athlete, because Tavaris Dice also a basketball player. So again, they go for the dual sport athletes at that position with great size, height, length, speed, everything. And they go, hey, well, we'll just develop you. Auburn ain't got DJ Lagway. Let's get Solomon Thomas, the Lagway effect. Auburn's awful, but their boosters be dropping bags because they still got the number 5, 22-5. Yeah. Look, Auburn can suck, but they're spending money on kids. There's no doubt about that. That's why they took a bunch of kids from Florida last year. They took Jamonta Waller from Florida. It was NIL. They took Amaris Williams, NIL. Like, they were trying to take LJ McCray with NIL. Like, that's the thing. Auburn, I don't think is good recruiting. I think they know who they want to spend money on, and that works out for them there. Solomon Thomas, come on down. Rob Sale is going to do big things with him. I don't know about all that one. And then I saw this chunk of the chat. Even after they added Dice to the class, we're still 15th ranked. So until then, another big target. We should take a lead, though. Maybe. I realized I just blundered through all of that. Don't worry about it. We need to stop paying attention to recruiting rankings ASAP. I don't think so. I think you could say, hey, individually, maybe the recruiting rankings aren't the be all end all. Love you, Ray Graves. You didn't even send anything, so love you. Yeah, just to say love you. But I don't think you need to stop paying attention to recruiting rankings at all. I think individually recruiting rankings might not matter. Saying Vernell Brown is the 9th receiver in the On3 consensus, saying he's the 10th receiver on On3, saying he's the 6th receiver on 24/7. Maybe that stuff doesn't matter. And maybe the actual rank itself doesn't matter that much in terms of the class ranking. But I do think that if you've got a class built up with 3 stars, that's not good process. It's just not, because these 3 stars, while they may have some guys that are outliers and some guys that pan out great and things like that, they're 3 stars for a reason oftentimes. There's outliers, sure. But the general bulk of 3 stars is that they're 3 stars for a reason. So I don't think that you need to stop paying attention to recruiting rankings in general. I think over time, they tell you that, hey, recruiting rankings do matter. It's just you can look at individual rankings. Like we talked about this last week or a week or two ago with guys like who do we have that we could talk about? Muiz Tunkara. I'm a huge fan of his film. I look at his film and I think that's not a 3-star player. I don't. But the other ones, I can understand, Daniel Pierre-Louis, I can get why he's a 3-star. Chad Gasper, I can get why he's a 3-star. Miles Johnson, I get why he's a 3-star. A lot of these guys I look at and I say, hey, you're a 3-star for a reason. I understand it. 3 stars can pan out. Being a 3-star doesn't mean you're bad. It's not. I look at it as, hey, that's a riskier addition to the class. That guy's got a lower floor or a higher floor is generally how I look at the 3-star, 4-star, 5-star stuff. So I don't think you need to not pay attention to recruiting rankings. I just don't think that they're as important individually as people talk about. Rob Sell, I guess, just needed 3 years to show so he can finally recruit. He's not the primary recruiter on any of the kids that Florida's actually landed. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Gators will be a playoff team next season. That's the thing. They should be loading up to try to do that. Like if you play next year for the full season, how you played at the end of this season, assuming that you handle business tonight, you should be a playoff team. And especially if you improve the roster around DJ Lagway and you get a healthy DJ Lagway with another year of experience, you should be a lot better. Awesome recruiting run we're on. Let's handle business on the field tonight. Watch this class finish top 6. Need it. Gotta beat the heck out of FSU. Absolutely. What's up, Harrison? Alex Atkins taking over Rob Sale's spot. I think with the Alex Atkins stuff, if he comes to Florida, I think it'll be off-field role. He's still got a show cause that'll limit him in recruiting. So I think it'll be off-field or some kind of analyst role if he comes here at all. I think that's where we land on Alex Atkins. Must smash competition TV. Whoever got him to flip, let the other guy ride. Atkins will be an off-the-field role for Harrison. True place for him. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but Lagway is having the same effect on us like Tim Tebow. Billy Boy back at it again. Let's go Gators. What's up, Brandon? What's up? Who was that? I went by the name. Is that Ryan Tooper? It looks like that color. The name. Yep, Ryan Tooper. How you doing, Ryan? Harrison said, what the Lagway effect and a couple wins will do first. I'm saying crazy how momentum goes, but trust me, it was the narrative that was the issue. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is the narrative was there for a reason. Just all I'm throwing out there. Another one, Billy Boy building his blocks, need to beat FSU. Lagway's having the same effect that Tebow used to have. These recruits are flipping, and they see that's the thing. Like a lot of these kids are actually saying, I want to go play with DJ Lagway. Like they're pretty openly like, hey, DJ Lagway's a reason. Are there any recruits that we might lose? Yes. The most likely ones are probably Tayshawn Gelsey, still a flight risk, and Nay Montgomery, I think, is still a flight risk. Those are the 2 most likely ones. Tayshawn Gelsey, as far as I'm concerned, the story is that he is deciding between Florida, who wants him at tight end, and Florida State, who wants him at wide receiver, it comes down to what position you want to play, man. Personally, if he's set on playing wide receiver, go to Florida State. I don't like him as a receiver recruit. It's as simple as that. If he's a receiver, I'm not a big fan. If he's a tight end, dynamic potential. It needs a lot of work, but dynamic potential. But if he's a receiver, go on, man. Go to Tallahassee. That's fine by me. Don't care. The Lagway effect, great title for feature 30 for 30. When you win that ring, that'll help it a lot. Solomon probably waiting to see us beat FSU. Is it playoff or bust next season in year 4 under Billy? I think so. I think with Lagway and the investment that you're now getting with the buyout money being reallocated, I think it's fair to say the expectations are go. Like win. And I think that matters. I think Billy's seat just cooled down for this year, yeah. Solomon and Wilson waiting until next Wednesday. Billy Boy better beat some ass today. Let's go, Billy Boy. I'll say ass. I can say that. You want Ron Burgundy with that. I can say that one. Napier almost lost this game like 5 times last game. Let's chill on him being a good coach. He's improved. He's improving. For sure, Brandon, I got you. It was out. Can't lie. Again, he's improving. He's improving. It's just you got to continue doing it. You got to continue building this. What's up, Gator Nation? Another flip. Number 15 this morning. Team ranking was 15, that is. A lot of insiders saying VB3 better than Dallas Wilson. I think that they're so different stylistically. It's tough to... I don't know. I think that they're very different stylistically. It's like VB3, I look at long-term probably being a slot guy. He's going to be really dynamic and catch and run. And then Dallas Wilson is more purely an outside guy. And so I think it's tough. It's weird to compare those guys. They're required to do different things. Just get them both then. How about that? Get them both. Solomon Thomas, Dallas Wilson, Mr. French, possibly one of the corners committed to Texas or OSU. Tennessee or OSU. I think you got a good chance of the Tennessee one. Say that. Pretty good chance of that one. If we don't win by more than 21 points, yeah, you should blow them out. Absolutely. If you're Billy, you got to blow them out. We must put on a cork on the season by beating FSU convincingly. Love the show. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you. Still getting Thomas and Wilson, maybe Pickett. Don't know about all that one. Rivalry games are always tough, especially for the favorite. Beat the crap out of them. I don't care about, it's a rivalry game. They're tough. They're supposed to play tough. I don't care. You're playing Florida State when they've been at their worst in a long while. Kick their ass. Beat their ass. It's as simple as that. You're playing Florida State when they're at a bad spot, and you're riding red hot with your 5-star true freshman starting quarterback that's dynamic as hell. Your freshmen are all lighting it up. Beat the crap out of them. And if you do anything other than beat the crap out of them, that's a disappointment. It's as simple as that. I don't care about it being a rivalry game. I expect you to go beat the crap out of them. And I understand it's a rivalry game, so it's probably going to be tougher than a lot of people expect. I don't care from the mentality standpoint. Beat the crap out of them. Beat the crap out of them. It takes time to turn a Pinto into a Ferrari. New to the channel, I like it. Go Gators. Thank you, Clinton. Thank you very much there. Better be a 4 or 5-star. He is a 4-star, Gator 24/7. He is a 4-star across the board, every recruiting service. Lagway hasn't started start to finish on a true road environment, right? Don't believe so. Don't believe so to this point. You're delivering all this goodness, and I'm loving it. Love you too, Q. Appreciate you. Thank you for always being here. Gelsey, let him go on. Belt ass is all I want to see. That's what I'm saying. Just wha! That's it. Just that's it. I just want to see that a couple times. Just up and down the field. That's it. 12-team playoff now. That better be the expectation. Competing for SEC championships. Absolutely. True from Harrison. I think since it's time to win and we're in that 2-year period for Lagway, the coaches are realizing we don't need any more project, lower tier players, go for the big dogs and top portal players. I would agree, but I think that this staff has already taken all of their project players. I don't think they're like, you need to compete, stop with the projects. I think they're like, hey, we could take 4 or 5 projects every year. We've already got them. Now let's back off. And I think that's where we're at. If any of our recruits flip, they weren't a Gator man always. This is rivalry week. No teams are blowing out anyone. Just handle it. Also, I know that it was halftime of the Louisville game when I went live, but it was 20-0. Louisville was beating the crap out of Kentucky. So I don't want to hear no one's blowing out anybody. Dig the show, dude. Keep it up. Appreciate you, Trey. Really wanted Georgia and Tennessee to lose this week. I'm telling you. If Billy wins tonight or at Bobby Bowden Field, he would have done something the old ball coach has never done. We should dog walk FSU from start to finish. I'm saying that's the mentality. No, it's a rivalry week. You never know. Beat the crap out of them. Like, you're the better team easily, and they are one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in Power 4 football. Beat the crap out of them. It's as simple as that. UGA Tech game last night was wild. It was insane. That was 8 overtimes, just nuts. It was great. I was watching the Georgia Tech game with my fiance, and she was like, "Oh, like, is it over now?" And I was like, "No, there's they got to keep going." And then Georgia scored. She's like, "Oh, is it over?" And I was like, "No, now Georgia Tech gets a chance." And it was just chaos. It was a hell of a game. Great game. I heard it's not a lot of seats in the stadium, like maybe 40,000. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Florida State's like renovating and stuff. And the Coach Spurrier never won to choke Campbell Stadium. Crazy. 37-13 is not going to be a spanking. That's the 37-13 I'm happy with. I'm fine with that. You win by 3 touchdowns? I'm happy with it. I'm cool with that. It should not feel like a close game or we need to reevaluate it. That's kind of the thing, right? That's why, and I'll say this before we wrap up and go because it's been almost half an hour. But that's why before the LSU game, I said Florida needs to, and Billy Napier needs to beat LSU, beat Ole Miss, beat Florida State. And after beating LSU and Ole Miss, I maintained Florida needs to still beat Florida State. And people were in the comments like, "Oh, but you beat these top ranked teams. Why do you have to beat Florida State?" 2 reasons. One, if you beat these top ranked teams, then beating Florida State shouldn't be a difficult ask at all, right? I don't think so. I think that's fair. 2, this is exactly the kind of game where Billy Napier has historically taken his foot off the gas. This is exactly the kind of game where historically Billy Napier has gotten conservative and just been content getting out of there with a win. If you want to prove that you've truly turned a corner, put your foot on their throat and put all of your weight on that foot. Okay? That's what it is. If you want to prove that you've turned the corner, kill them. Simple as that. No other way to go about it. Love the show. Who do you think we get next? Onus Kanwanbani is a good one. A good guess. And there's someone visiting campus tomorrow that we got to be hush-hush about. But I'll tell you what. Everybody's here. So got 197 people. In the description, there is a link to the Florida Gators Insider Program, the Locked On Gators Insider Program, right? It's joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. Joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. In 10 minutes, I will tell everybody in that insider program. It's first 2 weeks free, $5 a month after that. So it's not like it costs you anything right now. Join that. And in 10 minutes, I will tell you who the secret visitor that I'm expecting is going to be tomorrow. And we'll deal with that there. I will tell the insiders that. How about that? 10 minutes, 2:30 Eastern time is who we'll tell. The fact that we still have doubts about beating a 2-9 FSU team is why I'm still not all in on Billy. And that's perfectly fair. Here's the thing. I don't fault anybody for feeling how they feel. I don't fault. The only thing I hate is when those idiots go, "You owe him an apology." Shut the hell up. Owe him an apology. I feel about him the way I feel about him because of what he did, his actions. Is well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Like, no, I don't owe him. Damn, he owes me an apology for the first 2 years and a quarter. That's what it is. He owes me an apology. Like I said, Coach Napier's too conservative at times, drives me crazy. Open it up, Billy ball, get a lead, pound the rock, pound the clock. Again, you give me a 3-score lead or a 3-score win, and I'm happy. I'm cool with it. I'm still not going to apologize because, again, I feel about Billy the way I feel about Billy because of how Billy has handled things at Florida. I feel about Billy how I feel about Billy because of what Billy has done. He may have changed, but that doesn't mean I'm going to forget what he's done, right? And also, let's be real. 3 weeks ago, we were, hey, it's great that you got the guys playing hard, but play hard or win games. You've done that twice. That doesn't negate the first 25, 30 game sample size that we have, right? That's at least how I'm feeling about it. Kirk Herbstreit saying Napier should be coach of the year is nuts. Yeah, Kirk's He's something. He's something. Yeah, he's something. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free, sometimes multiple times a day. Sometimes I think we're at 13 times this week. It's really nuts. But again, thank you all so much for just allowing this to be like what I do. It's incredible and will never get old. But I am Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. And we will see you all tonight because after the Florida State game, we're going live still. It'll be late, but we're going live. And we're going to be pumped for hopefully win. Here's the thing. We're either going to be pumped for a win and a big win, or we're going to be pretty damn mad, right? But we'll find out tonight. I'll see you all next time.